Annie Oakley was much more than just America's shooting sweetheart. Her life has been dramatized in TV shows and musicals like Annie Gets Your Gun, but this is the real-life story of Annie Oakley. On August 13, 1860, Phoebe Annie Mosey was born to a poor family in a rundown cabin near Greenville, Ohio. When she was only 5 years old, her father, Jacob, died when he was caught in a blizzard on a trip to town. A few years later, Annie's family was close to losing their farm. Thankfully, Annie had learned to hunt and she was able to feed her family. As her shooting skills improved dramatically, she began learning the types of trick shots she'd later become famous for. Annie's hard work paid off. Her skills not only supplied her family with food, but she also earned an income by selling wild game to Greenville merchants. Within 3 years, at the age of 15, she'd made enough money to pay off the family farm. On an 1875 visit to Cincinnati to see her sister, Annie competed in a local shooting match against a professional entertainment and trick shooter, Frank E. Butler. The amused Butler actually chuckled at the sight of the little lady who came up against him and offered to take all bets with a purse of $100.
Gonna be a pleasure to give you a lesson in marksmanship.
Why, you couldn't give me a lesson in long-distance spitting.
But Annie had the last laugh, hitting all 25 clay pigeons as they sailed into the air. Butler hit only 24. Butler was impressed, to say the least. He was also smitten, meeting his match in Annie. He made it his mission to get to know the girl better and wormed his way into her heart. He succeeded, and the couple is believed to have married in Cincinnati on August 23, 1876. The couple began traveling around the West, and Annie Butler adopted a stage name after a Cincinnati neighborhood. As Annie Oakley, she demonstrated her abilities to shoot dimes from a man's hand and cigarettes from his lips, hit the flame on a moving candle, and shoot the middle of the ace of spades over her shoulder using a mirror. She could also shoot targets while standing on the back of a galloping steed. In 1885, William Buffalo Bill Cody offered the Butlers a 3-day trial run with his Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Cody was super impressed and immediately hired the couple. He called Oakley Lil Miss and scheduled her as one of his first acts to get the crowd used to the sound of gunfire. Chief Sitting Bull, a legend immortalized in TV and movies himself, was so impressed with her that he sent her $65 for an autographed photo. Oakley returned the money with the requested photo. Sitting Bull christened her with Tanya Cecilia, which others translated to mean Little Sure Shot. Chief Sitting Bull joined Buffalo Bill's show soon after. Her shooting talents aside, something else made Annie Oakley unique in 19th century America. Knee-length costumes and her chestnut hair flowed down her back, two no-nos for feminine dress of the day. In a thesis entitled Embodying the West, author Julie E. Williams theorized that Oakley got away with her wardrobe because she maintained the lifestyle of, quote, a feminine, domestic, and virtuous woman. Unlike others working for Buffalo Bill who enjoyed a good party, Oakley preferred the comfort of her tent between shows, reading her Bible and sewing. Annie Oakley's career also encouraged more women to participate in sports, a pastime normally dominated by men. In 1898, she brazenly penned a letter to President William McKinley as the Spanish-American War loomed on the horizon. In it, Oakley volunteered her services by offering to personally organize and train 50 female sharpshooters to serve should America officially go to war. Her request was denied, largely because at that time women were not permitted to serve in the military. By 1901, Annie Oakley was at the top of her game. The Wild West show was famous across America, traveling from town to town and giving well-attended performances. But the show came to a stop in North Carolina with a horrific train wreck on the early morning of October 29, 1901. Oakley, who was sleeping when the accident occurred, was violently thrown from her bunk and remained in a coma for 17 hours. When she awoke, her left side was paralyzed. It was only after 5 surgeries, months of recovery, and 2 years that she would walk again. In the aftermath, souvenir hunters would report finding items from the wreck for weeks. Annie Oakley's time with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show was done. Needing a less strenuous career, she began giving shooting lessons for exclusive gun clubs. Frank Butler, meanwhile, took a job with the Union Metallic Cartridge Company. The position required giving demonstrations, allowing the couple to continue giving shooting exhibitions to illustrate how great the products were. When World War I broke out, Oakley again tried her luck at offering to give shooting lessons to the troops. She was again denied. The book Women of the American Circus reveals that Oakley took matters into her own hands and traveled across America, giving shooting lessons and demonstrations for the National War Council of the Young Men's Christian Association and the War Camp Community Service. When Annie Oakley died in 1926 at the age of 66, Americans lost their heroine. Fans would never forget the little lady who aimed to please them. Fortunately, 2 films survive in which the famed shooting champion demonstrated her skills. In the years after Oakley's death, movies, songs, and a television show fictionalized her life. The first film of her life, aptly titled Annie Oakley, came out in 1935 and starred Barbara Stanwyck. A 1946 stage musical, Annie Get Your Gun, was made into a 1950 movie starring Betty Hutton and remade in 1957 for TV. Between 1954 and 1957, a television show, also titled Annie Oakley, ran in syndication. But the show was pure fiction, with Oakley and her brother keeping order in the town of Diablo. One thing is for sure, Oakley was a woman who was not afraid to show off her hard-earned skills.
We have ways of taking care of men like him.
She blossomed as a modest symbol of the American female spirit in a time when most women were relegated to careers as housewives and domestic workers. Most importantly, Annie Oakley's endurance and strength in the face of tragedy remains something to be admired, even today. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about famous people in history are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.